Hello, welcome again. Thank you so much for being there. Now, in the previous video, we saw that we went quickly into this to simplify. Now, you want to check the last video, the previous video, so you get to know how to do it. However, the process, I hope you see that this can be further simplified. So, go to do that immediately. Follow me to that, please. So what we have here is 3 root 3 times 5 root 2. Now this still means 3 times root 3. This times here and this 5. This means 5 times root 2. Is that okay? So what we'll do is this and this look alike, multiply like terms. Right? So multiply this and this because they are not related. So have 3 times this 5. And then this, it's all the same operation, times, so you can swap them anyhow. Anyway. Then root 3 times root 2. So this is 3 times 3, this is 5. And this is the same thing as doing this here. So what you now have is this multiplication, so this is 3 times 2, so this is 5 times 3 times 2 is what? 6. Eventually, sorry, 3 times 5 is 15. Pardon, humans make mistakes, pardon. Can you see how we make mistakes? 3 times 3 I wrote 1, 3 times 5 I wrote 5. So it's 3 times 5 is 15, and so 2 times 3 is 6. So what we have eventually is 6 as the final simplification. These are the statements of this. Thank you so much for that. So let's quickly try on this. Now, let's go from here. Okay, I'm trying this. Now, if you try it by yourself, you should have 4 times 3 root 60 times root 45. Root 45. So let's go by the same rules. We'll break them down quickly. Now what is 12? 12 is the same thing. You come here, 12 is the same thing as 6 times 2 or 2 times 6. And 12 is the same thing as 4 times 3 or 3 times 4. So the best arrangement. Now you ask yourself which have a perfect square root. 6 doesn't have a perfect square root, 2 doesn't have a perfect square root. This combination is any one of these two that has a perfect square root here, that is 4. So 4 of these doesn't have a perfect square root, so we're going to put this at 4 with these two places. So this is going to be essentially 4 times root 3. Is that okay? Now, in this one, this is times, this is the same thing as 3 times root 60. Now, another thing one can do is multiply, turn this one to 3, the same thing as 3 is the same thing as with 9, because 9, square root of 9 is 3, right? So we can just put it here, say 9 times 60. But that would be a long way. That would be like, I'm going this direction. So instead of going forward, I go back first and then go forward again. In some cases in life, situations will require that to go back before go forward. But this one, you don't need to go back and go forward. So you just separate it and do the work here. So this is separating it. This is 3 times 360. And this is, what is root 45? Root 45, first of all, what is 45? 45 is the same thing as what? 45 is the same thing as 15 times 3, right? And 45 is the same thing as 9 times 5. Okay? Good. So, look at if any of these two, this or this, which one has a combination with which one of the factors is a perfect or have a perfect square root. 15 doesn't have a perfect square root. 3 doesn't have a perfect square root. 5 doesn't have a perfect square root, but 9 does, because 9 can be rooted. If you root 9, the square root of 9 is 3. So you take this combination to represent 45. So 45, which is 9 times 5, is what we're going to use, not this. This one will not have, because none have the perfect square root. So we'll come here and find this. This 45 to 9 times 5. Remember, I've not done that today. I've done that deliberately so that we take this step. So how to repeat this? By making this root 4 times 3 times, now this is 3 times what is this? Root 60 is the same thing as what? Now what is root 60? Let's finish here. Root 60. Root 60 is the same thing as what? Root 60 is the same thing as what? What is 60 first of all? 60 is the same thing as 10 times 6. Therefore, yeah. 60 is the same thing as 5 times 12. True? And 60 is the same thing as 20 times 3. Is that not true? Yes. And 60 is also the same thing as 4 times 15. Can you imagine? So which of these 4 combinations, all of them gives you 60? 60, 60. So which of these 4 combinations should we choose? Let's do the same way we do here. This doesn't have the perfect square root. This doesn't have the perfect square root. So this particular one is wrong. This doesn't have the perfect square root. This doesn't have the perfect square root. So this combination is wrong. This part doesn't have a perfect square root. This doesn't have a perfect square root. So this combination is wrong. This doesn't have a perfect square root. This has a perfect square root. Oh, hallelujah. So we're going to pick this combination. So we're going to pick this. So let's go. So it's 60 in this case will not be represented by 4 times 15. 4 times 15 qualified. So this is what we have, and it's 9 times 5. So let's go. This is the same thing as separating them. We should have root 4 times root 3. This multiplication sign, this 3, and then this is root 4 times root 15 times this multiplication sign, and then root 9 times root 5. Now check the previous video. What I told is, if you have 2 values and a square root sign covering 2 values that are separated by the allocation sign, professional sign, you can just separate them, let both of them have the square root sign separately. So square root of 4 is 2. We're going to make 2 this multiplication sign. Square root of 3, not perfect square root, so leave it there. And this 3, leave it there. Square root of 4 is 2, so this comes 2. And the square root of 5 is 15. 15 doesn't have a perfect square root, so leave it at 15. And the square root of 9 is 3. And this one is here. So what we do is we will collect like terms. So these doesn't have